Roger Stone, thank you for joining us. This is just a whirlwind of information breaking right now.
Alex, it's been quite a morning, to say the least. As you know, I received a formal letter from the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee via email very late Thursday. They said they've been trying to mail it to me for a month, but couldn't find my address. That gives one pause about the committee that's supposed to be overseeing our out-of-control intelligence services. Once again, I hear my name dragged through the mud at this morning's hearings, but I assure you that any inference that my interaction, as brief and limited as it was, and now fully and completely disclosed, does not constitute collusion based on facts, timeline, and so on. So once I have the opportunity, I will lay that timeline out for the Senate or the House. But I want public hearings. I don't want this behind closed doors. This chairman, the ranking member, Adam Schiff, maligns me. A member of the committee, Swalwell from California, they hide behind their congressional immunity, implying that my brief and now public and one-time communications with Crucifer II, a man who may or may not be a Russian asset, just because the intelligence agencies say he is, does not make it.
Roger, I understand you keep putting your case out, which is a fact.
It's innocuous. It's benign. So this is a headshot. It's a takedown because I was an MVP, as you were, in the election.
And that's what Media Matters internal.
Up their combine.
And that's what Media Matters internal reports that Project Veritas got out show. They're working with the White House. They're working with Hillary. They're working with CNN to block Roger Stone, the MVP, to demonize him, to attack him. And then meanwhile, of course, we're all trying to talk to WikiLeaks. CNN talks to him. So does Fox News. Of course, we're trying to talk to Guccifer 2.0. I've had media call me for years saying, do you know Guccifer? And we've gotten emails, people claiming they're Guccifer, probably the FBI. Of course, as media outlets, we try to talk to people. But the point is that they've got you in a public chat room congratulating Guccifer 2.0 for having their account restored. So that's the proof you're a Russian agent. Meanwhile, they admit that there's no real connection to you, Trump or Flynn, to any of the Russians. All they have is Flynn lining up a phone call, which he was supposed to do once the president was elected.
Well, and my exchange with Guccifer is almost 6 weeks after the public release of the wiki documents, which I am purported to have colluded with him to leak.
Off air, you've told me you're angry, Roger Stone. You're sick of it. You use some fine language. You want in front of these cowards, these scumbags. You tell me you wish you could sue them if they didn't have immunity. I mean, you're pissed. You're a red-blooded American that served this country in a great fashion for decades. So repeat what you've told me off air directly to these scumbag faces. Go ahead.
Look, you know, yesterday Chairman Schiff was all over saying the information regarding Russian collusion was circumstantial. So don't malign me in hearings, but then not afford me the opportunity to respond in the same forum. That would be intrinsically unfair. I am jonesing to appear before the committee and clarify this matter. But while we're there, we need to talk about who wiretapped Donald Trump using this Russian thing as their rationale, their phony rationale. They have no evidence. This treasure trove of Crucifer 2 was dropped on me to elicit this headline: Trump associate admits communication with Russian hacker. Misleading, salacious, not factual.
Well, let me just stop you, though, because this is so crystal clear. They were in the New York Times 4 times the week of the inauguration, on the day of the inauguration, naming you, saying we have transcripts of you and Flynn talking to the Russians. You get on live camera with us. You say, this is insane. Live, you say, it's how dare them that they need to release these transcripts. Then I've never talked to any Russians. Then they come out months later and go, okay, there's no evidence of them talking to Russians. The House Intelligence Committee head Nunes says there's nothing in the transcripts. There's literally not even phone calls with Roger Stone or any of these people. And so then they go, oh, there's never been any wiretapping. There's never been any intercepts. They're insane. Impeach Trump. We never wiretapped any of these people. I mean, they act like we're morons. And now, I want you to speak to that. And now we get the documents from former Sheriff Arpaio's task force This has all been in federal court. The feds have had this for 2 years. They've been challenged. It's all been, secret. But now it's coming out. NSA documents prove surveillance of Donald Trump and his family going back with Obama 8 years. Oh, and guess who else is in there? Alex Jones. So they say they've never spied on anybody, Roger Stone. New York Times admits CIA affirms it spied on the Senate Intelligence Panel. They admit that this very program called Dragnet was used on over 1 million Americans. Well, now we have the Dragnet interface, the Dragnet entries, and we've also got a bunch of the raw front page files given to us by law enforcement that show it. And notice, how big is it, Roger? You can tweet an hour later, it's national news. Me too. They are dead silent on this, even though drudgereport.com has it linked right dead center since yesterday afternoon. What's that tell you?
Let's be very clear that these are related issues. The timeline you just went through.
Oh, it's all together. It's the same thing.
Exactly. But here's the important to realize. As soon as Donald Trump tweeted on his personal Twitter feed that he had been wiretapped, the intelligence agency's rap changed overnight to "we have no evidence." Up till then, they had all kinds of secret evidence, as they kept telling the New York Times. They're busted. They're caught. They want this all to go away.
Think about it. Think about it. They're saying they're going to impeach Trump. This is unbelievable. Talk about over-the-top con game gaslighting. They're going to impeach Trump when they're saying we were surveilling your people and have proof. He says that's a leak. You shouldn't talk about intelligence. They're caught. So then they turn around and say, oh, we were never surveilling. You're insane, when we have thousands of newspaper headlines and them saying it on TV. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me speak specifically to this groundbreaking story by Jerry Corsi today about widespread spying. Put aside Sheriff Joe for a moment. We now know from these documents that through a program of wide data collection, that Donald Trump's home phone number in his New York apartment was being monitored. His office phone number at Trump Tower was being monitored. His cell phones were being monitored. The number in his private apartment in Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach.
And by the way, these are numbers all known to us, you and I, so we know these are the real numbers.
And then the numbers at his various resorts where he would go to play golf. All of them had been monitored. All of them had been compromised. They had begun this under President Bush, but here is the key. The program, which had several different iterations of code names. Trump, I think his data was swept up under a task force called Sidewinder, was that monitoring, that surveillance continued into the Obama administration. So the question becomes not when did it start? The real question is, when did it stop, or did it stop? I still believe that Judge Napolitano is absolutely right that the piece pertaining to Trump was probably done by the Brits. They're the cutout. Their denial today is what they're supposed to be saying as the cutout. This is how intelligence works. So in order to be able to say we didn't do this with a straight face, they franchise it out to the Brits. Trust me, we've done the same for them in other jurisdictions.
And that's how this works. Well, I've been butting in here because this is all interconnected. It's incredible to see my name in here, my old private office that we had to get out of because of people starting to surveil it. Just all sorts of things going on. And then to know these are real and to see them not even responding, Roger. I mean, I had investigators calling me last week saying, is this your old cell phone number? Yes. Your private one? Is this where you had your private office? Yes. Is this where you used to live? Yes. Is this your family's phone number? Yes. Is this where you also, I mean, they had me surveilled all over the place. And again, let's remember, because Trump was against the Iraq war. He was talking about running against George W. Bush in 2004. So they're surveilling him. It continues under Obama. And this is incredible. So here it is, proof Obama was surveilling him a lot longer than we thought, and just zero coverage because they don't know what to do. So it's key that the listeners get this out if they want to defeat the globalists. Roger Stone.
You know, Alex, the truth is in 2000, when I was the chairman of Donald Trump's Presidential Exploratory Committee, I kept finding an enormous amount of our intensive documents, not documents, but information contained in our proprietary online material in the media, constantly in the media. I suspect that even then, surveillance, we went so far as to have one of the hotel rooms or one of the sections of Mar-a-Lago swept. This was in 2000. So I have always seen this danger. This is bigger than Watergate. This will ultimately bring the criminals down. Sean Spicer and Reince Priebus don't have the belly for this fight. They're saying, oh, Mr. President, walk it back, apologize.
Sure, they tried to walk it back and said he walked it back to the British. He came out and said, no, I didn't, because it's known they spy on us to get around the law. We spy on them. It's an agreement that's admitted.
Well, and his joke at the swearing in of Merkel tells you what he thinks. What did he say? One thing that Chancellor Merkel and I have in common is we've both been wiretapped by Barack Obama, right on the money.
That's right, Roger. I know you've got to go very, very soon for more interviews. Thank you for the exclusive. As you know more, you're going to be popping in at, what, 1:30 Central, and that's 2:30 Eastern, correct?
Yes, we have a couple of camera crews that we have at bay from the local affiliates. And I want to make clear to them, just as I made clear to the InfoWars family, I am ready to testify. Bring it.
Again, total made-up crap bull.
This is a fraud. This is a hit job. The facts, the timeline, and the content will prove that there was no Russian collusion.
All right. Thank you so much, Roger. Be safe, because I wanted to say this. You know, they're going to try to kill you before these hearings. They're trying to kill you. You need real security. In fact, I've got people ready to come in from Florida if you need help. So let's talk. God bless you. This is serious, folks. This isn't drama. Roger, you want to come back and say two more things? You got to go. You got to go with the camera crews.
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you. Be safe, man. Be safe.